Welcome to IHIP News, where we share our opinion about the news that is important to us, promoting democracy, trafficking, and petty grievances. Pumps, this last weekend, Vice President Harris and Governor Walz have barnstormed the country. There is enthusiasm. There are crowds. There is joy. They get to play cool music. Everybody's dancing. And over at MAGA, it is titty baby parade, the biggest bunch of titty babies I have ever seen in my life.
What amazes me about this last weekend is I've watched every single one of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz rallies, and I smiled the entire time. I couldn't help myself because it was talking about the future and freedom and democracy and all the things that the American people want by an overwhelming majority. And then, of course, I traffic in Truth Social now because it's one of my favorite objects. And it is doom and gloom, and it's miserable. And the Titty Baby Parade is, bar none, the best I've ever seen.
Let's do a little recap of how MAGA and convicted felon Hannibal Lecter is responding to the sensation of a ticket that is Harris Walz. First and foremost, everybody knows last week he did a press conference that was covered by all national news outlets where he told over 160 lies and wasn't fact-checked in real time. Then he goes to Montana, you know, the battleground state.
Yes.
And it came out in the news after he went to Montana that he had previously stiffed the city and the sheriff's office. And if you research into this, everywhere that Trump goes, MAGA stiffs the locals. They don't pay the venues, and then they don't reimburse the sheriff's offices and police departments for security. But most importantly, they are so bad at this. Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and everyone surrounding them are terrible at their jobs. They actually played the Titanic song and video at the Montana Trump rally. These people are literally rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic.
What was so shocking about it is when I first saw the clip, I thought somebody on the internet superimposed it. I never in a million years dreamed that their campaign would put the Titanic song at his rally.
Also shocked at this was the singer of the song, Celine Dion, and her team puts this out. Today, Celine Dion's management team and her record label, Sony Music Entertainment Canada, Inc., became aware of the unauthorized usage of the video, recording, musical performance, and likeness of Celine Dion singing My Heart Will Go On at a Donald Trump J.D. Vance campaign rally in Montana. In no way is this use authorized, and Celine Dion does not endorse this or any similar use. And really, that song?
It was the troll of a lifetime. It was unbelievably beautiful trolling. And in addition to this, I just want to point out that Beyonce and Taylor Swift have granted permission to Kamala Harris to use their music. And then I also saw that Isaac Hayes' family is suing. Well, they've sent a cease and desist letter. And if they don't stop using Isaac Hayes Jr.'s music, they're going to sue him.
Well, think about what it would be like to be a MAGA Republican right now. Number one, everybody thinks you're crazy and a member of a cult because you are. You support a man who is completely against democracy, believes that a violent insurrection was justified, went on some rant over the weekend on Truth Social about releasing people who have been convicted of the crime of beating up cops, yet he says he's so pro-law and order and so worried about crime, even though the fact is violent crime was higher under Trump than it is under Biden. It is a campaign of gaslighting low information voters that stay in the right-wing media bubble. And it's all about picking on people,
yes.
Women who don't have kids, minorities. They even pick on J.D. Vance's wife, and he cannot defend her. He cannot defend his biracial children when he sees that MAGA is picking on Kamala Harris because she's biracial. This political movement wants to force 12, 13, 14-year-olds to have their rapist baby. J.D. Vance's opinions and stance on women's reproductive health care is something from a century or 2 centuries ago. These people are so dangerous and so unlikable. There is not a musician, aside from Kid Rock, that they can play at their rallies. If you watch the Harris Walls rallies, you hear Rihanna, you hear Taylor Swift, you hear Beyonce, you hear all of them. And then at a MAGA rally, they start playing these songs, and then everybody, all of the musicians, if the musician is living or dead, then gets on Twitter, please cease and desist, please quit playing our music. Nobody wants to be associated with this crazy anti-life cult. It is literally, I believe, a death cult unless you are a white, rich man. The racism, the homophobia, the transphobia, the delusions of grandeur. And then you look at the top of the ticket and how everybody makes a moral carve out for this man. All of these alleged American Christians make a moral carve out for a man who screwed a porn star when his wife was at home with their baby, yet they say we're for family values.
The fact that MAGA sits on the moral high ground of family values is repulsive. One thing that J.D. Vance said that I don't think gets enough attention is how that women, well, he's anti no-fault divorce. So he wants to bring back fault in divorces. He also has said it is inconvenient for women who become pregnant by their rapist, incest, with a child from that type of relationship. He's also said women should stay in violent, physically abusive marriages. This is a man that doesn't give a flying fuck about women. That doesn't even start with the childless cat ladies and the reproductive rights. It's jaw-dropping to me.
J.D. Vance did a whirlwind tour on the Sunday news channels, which was nothing short of a jet stream of bullshit. He is an abject failure, a complete disaster. And really, basically, nobody likes him at all. And I'm going to get to him more in a minute. But before he went on this horrible press tour, Donald Trump has been on banger after banger over at Truth Social, and he ripped this one out yesterday. Has anyone noticed that Kamala, caps lock, cheated at the airport? There was nobody at the plane, and she AI'd it and showed a massive crowd of so-called followers, but they didn't exist. She was turned in by a maintenance worker at the airport when he noticed the fake crowd picture. But there was nobody there. Later confirmed by the reflection of the mirror-like finish on the vice presidential plane. She's a cheater. She had nobody waiting, and the crowd looked like 10,000 people. Same thing is happening with her fake crowds at her speeches. This is the way the Democrats win elections, by cheating. And they're even worse at the ballot box. She should be disqualified because the creation of the fake image is, wait for it, election interference. Anyone who does that will cheat at anything. Okay, first and foremost, this is incompetence in motion right here. She has the enthusiasm. She has the crowds. She's basically campaigning on the idea of freedom.
Right.
That's how low the bar is in the MAGA world, that they are now saying that she's faking her crowds. And it never occurred to any of these people that all the 10, 15, 20,000 people at all of these rallies have their own cell phones as well. So they have video evidence and selfies to corroborate all of the other news channels, including right-wing media, that has all the video footage and photographs of all of this. But most importantly, this is the top of the ticket for the third time in a row for Republicans on Truth Social, completely unhinged. Could you imagine if Joe Biden, Barack Obama, or Kamala Harris put out something so unhinged, divorced from reality and pathetic as this.
You know, I heard a lot of scuttlebutt on the media over the weekend saying, is he delusional or is he gaslighting? And the point is, it doesn't matter. It's unhinged. It's absolutely shows he is divorced from reality. The thing that stuck out to me the most, he's talking about cheating. That is the hypocrisy in motion. It kills me. He cheats at golf. He cheats at taxes. He cheats on his
Wife.
He cheats on the state of New York for business fraud. I mean, he cheats at everything. Everything he touches, he cheats at. So the projection that we talked about last week is on full force and effect. And then already in August, we're talking about election interference. So if he loses, we can all talk about election interference, which we all know was a lie.
Let's not forget that Stop the Steal was the biggest, most violent form that he wanted to cheat. And this guy is such a titty baby. He did not go to the inauguration, and he did not shake his opponent's hand. You can watch T-ball teams that line up that are 5 years old, and one team gets beat, and these kids are boodle baby city, crying their eyes out. And what do their parents do? You have to go high five, line up, congratulate the team. That's what you have to do. And how these MAGA Republicans, and especially the ones that claim to be Christian, do not have the balls to tell the top of the ticket, buckle up, Buttercup, you lost, tuck your tail between your legs and congratulate your opponent, is jaw-dropping. It is pathetic. And what's so sad is these people live around us. Mm-hmm. But this whole MAGA thing, the hypocrisy in the way the press covers it, even the mainstream media, and the way they hold the Democrats to a much higher standard, MAGA and the press, than they hold themselves to. The Trump campaign is alleging that they were hacked. And you may remember back in 2016 where Trump, from a press conference, implored Russia to hack Hillary Clinton. And the way the press handled that and the way the Trump campaign handled that. And now look at how the media and Trump is handling this. I'm just saying this is something I think we should keep our eyes on. But also in this hack, a treasure trove of Project 2025 videos have been dropped. And guess who's narrating all of these tutorials for how to implement Handmaid's Tale in America?
Who?
Former Trump aides, former Trumpers, former Trump cabinet members, former people within Trump's orbit. So Trump trying to distance himself from Project 2025 is lying, and it's gaslighting, because they had 270 pages of vulnerabilities on J.D. Vance. And I would imagine that one of those was the fact that he wrote the foreword to the author of Project 2025. Furthermore, Trump and the president of the Heritage Foundation, which authored Project 2025, ride around on PJs together.
Right.
So don't think for a second that this delusional man, who literally one of his true socials over the weekend simply said, everything about Kamala is fake. I mean, he will rain hellfire down on not just the United States, but the entire free world.
It's interesting, the Project 2025, how he's distancing himself from that, where he doesn't take into account there are 38 authors, 31 worked for him and in his administration. He does not have any policies to present to the American people on his ticket, except those of Project 2025, which I think he is now renamed. I've heard this, like he's renamed it, but it's the same type thing. The reason he's distancing himself from this is because it is so overwhelmingly unpopular, because it wants to take the United States of America and its people back 50, 100 years. And like you said, white, rich, Christian men. That is who Project 2025 benefits. No one more than Donald Trump consolidating the executive power. It's disgusting. If it wasn't so dangerous. I'd probably get a kick out of Kamala Harris at one of her rallies saying, "Can you believe they wrote this stuff down?" That would have been more entertaining had it not been so very scary.
So, listener, I think you have to remember this. Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and all of the people surrounding them look no further than to lunatic Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. They want to come after birth control. They want a nationwide abortion ban. And all of that is fun and games for white women living in the suburbs until your daughter gets knocked up by the dumb jock that you cannot stand. And she's 17 or 18 years old. And you want to provide abortion care for her. These are very real scenarios on the very personal end of it. On the more violent, horrific end of it, you have a stepfather that rapes a 14, 15-year-old girl. She's going to have that baby because J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, Mike Johnson, and Project 2025 say, oh, that's just inconvenient. So if you vote for this ticket, that's what you're voting for. And I'm not even getting into if you happen to have gay people in your life that you love, members of the LGBTQIA plus community that you love. And that doesn't even begin to scratch the surface on the overt racism of this party. But I want to leave our listener with this. I enjoyed so much the Olympics and watching all of the athletes from all around the world. And it was the first time since 2016, really, that I saw the flag and I thought of this unifying thing, like, let's go USA, because MAGA and Trump, they dry hump the flag. They're hugging the flag. Donald Trump just loves the flag and all this fucking bullshit. I'm so sick of it. And at the beginning of the Olympics, Fox News, Trump, all these MAGA senators are losing their minds because some drag queens cosplayed having a Greek dinner.
Right.
And they're all butthurt because they think it was the Last Supper. And what I have to say to that is, number one, is the God you worship that insecure that would offend him versus egregious human rights violations? And then I thought to myself, who does that sound like that would get their feelings hurt over something like that? If that's what these Christians got, their God, that's who they're defending. Sounds just like Trump.
Absolutely.
So the jump, is not that far. But as everybody's celebrating this all around the globe, it was just pure joy watching the Olympics. Yesterday, Senator Mike Lee puts this tweet out, and he's a big MAGA Republican, and this is where the Republican Party is right now. As the Olympics draw to a close, Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff fails to defend American Christians or respond to the insults of the opening ceremonies as a leader of the presidential delegation. The Harris-Biden administration stands for little beside itself. And I want to say this. America is not a Christian nation. America is a nation where you are free to be a Christian. Get it through your heads, you little dipshits.
It's unbelievable to me that there has been such a backlash on this. It goes back to, we're not teaching history. The Olympics originated, first games in Greece. This was a homage to Greek mythology. They're the ones that put the Christian spin on it, the Last Supper. And these are the same people that are irate about the Olympics opening ceremonies. These are the same people that if the United States in 2028 holds the games in Los Angeles and does their opening ceremony, if somebody said a word about it, about being offended or not agreeing with the opening ceremony choices, these are the people that say, fuck you, we're Americans, we can do what we want. Da-da-da. What the fuck? Why would anybody give a shit about Paris's opening ceremony? I just don't get it. That's finding a reason to play charade.
Okay, so they're upset because it was drag queens, right? So I look forward to all of these MAGA Republicans' response to the viral photograph of J.D. Vance in drag
Yes.
while at Yale. We all know, now I don't know if this is true or not, this is just what I hear on the internet, that he likes to have sex with sofas, that he wears eyeliner. He will not defend, and this is a fact, he will not defend his wife of Indian descent, nor his biracial children, and nor will he defend drag queens. And apparently here he is in the eyeliner, in his wig, in his dress. Now, I don't have a problem with drag queens. I love drag queens. I will fight for J.D. Vance's right to wear drag, but I'm not a religious hypocrite that's an ethnocentric American like these assholes.
Also, in his hillbilly elegy, did not he put that he thought he was gay when he was like 10 years old and his grandma said he couldn't be gay? So you got to remember that too. But what I find so interesting is this complete attack on drag queens. And we've got J.D. Vance in eyeliner. Donald Trump wears more makeup and has more bad hair products than any drag queen on planet Earth. And so the hypocrisy, again, it's just on full display. And how people that are so pro-Trump Vance and what they're putting out there and so hateful to drag queens don't see the correlation, and that it just doesn't fucking matter.
And I just want to leave it with this. Show me where groups of organized drag queens have committed sexual crimes against children. I've never seen it, but I have seen it at all of these evangelical youth camps, the Catholic Church, the Boy Scouts, the Nazarenes, on and on, the Southern Baptists,
Yes.
and on and on and on. And I never hear a peep out of MAGA about that. So we are going to continue every day exposing these MAGA hypocrites and championing for democracy.
Absolutely. It is time to vote, vote, vote.
All right, stick with us for more hot takes.
It's so